Hey guys, Jan here for Advanced Property Strategies. How you going? Hopefully you're enjoying some of the videos over the last few weeks and months. We've also got Viv Halliday with me. Say hi, Viv.
Hi.
We've just been out on site looking at one of my land subdivisions and doing a bit of a walk around, which is cool. And today we're going to be talking about passive income strategies, because I know a lot of people who've been to my courses in the past when I was running mentoring programs there, that oftentimes people want to replace their income. They want to generate six-figure income, 100 grand, 200 grand, just as a first major milestone to replace their PAYG income, you know, their 40, 60, 80 hours a week working for someone else. So I know that when Viv came on board, she was on that journey, weren't you, Viv?
Yeah, I was looking to build retirement through property, get some passive income in.
So a lot of people that come to me, especially in the early days, is learning how to replace their income, whether it's through passive income, doing developments and things like that. So we're going to talk about passive income and some of the elements to it, and some simple ways to do it without having to buy 5, 10, 20 properties in a period of 5 years or so. So there are a handful of ways. One of the ideas I think that people can do really, really easily, just to get a taste for it, is do homestays. So you may have heard of homestays where, let's say, you've got students from overseas. They're subsidised by the government. It is tax-free from what I understand. You might have to double check that. But essentially you bring them into your home. They might stay in one of your spare bedrooms, in your garage. Obviously you've got to provide bed, linen, that kind of stuff, not just sleep on the floor. Provide them with some food and a bit of transportation and a bit of hospitality. So Viv, have you done any homestays before, and what's your take on it generally?
No, I haven't, but I know a few people that have, and they've found it very successful. A lot of them are overseas students, so it's sort of quite interesting to look at a different culture. Obviously some, you get some that are great and some that are not so great. And really it's just cooking, and the tax-free thing, I'm pretty sure that that's the go with the students. So yeah, just go and check, but it's nice to have cash every week.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't like it, you don't have to extend the agreement after the term or things like that. It's a periodic thing, and it's a really easy way to do it, to test it. Some people may not want people living in their house. That's okay. There are a lot of reasons to potentially do it, some reasons to not do it. So that's one way. Another way that a lot of interstaters do, let's say out of Queensland, is they do the granny flat idea. They build it underneath their house. It has to be legal height, mind you, and that's a matter of definition. But what are some of the other ways there, Viv, that you found building passive income that don't cost a lot of money?
This is something that you have to check with your accountant, but I think there's, when you rent a room, if they're a boarder, it's sort of along that same line as the student account. So I think there are some tax advantages in that, but you might have to ask the right questions to your accountant on that one.
Looking at homestays, looking at having a boarder, looking at doing a granny flat, because really what you're looking for is what we call multiple sources of income, right? Not multiple jobs necessarily. Maybe that's where you start to build up that capital, to build up those deposits, to buy those properties and extend your portfolio. But we're talking about multiple sources of income, and I think that's a bit missing in terms of the education that people have. I know that by default, when I started out, let's say I was going to uni and I didn't have necessarily a full-time job because I was studying full-time, I looked at side jobs. I did tutoring, was one of my main sources. I did tutoring at the uni, and I did tutoring for high school students there. So you look for basically jobs on the side as a side hustle, so to speak, to make money, because you need, at that point in time, you need money to pay for petrol. You want to go to the movies, you got to pay for it. You can't necessarily rely on your parents. My point is, initially we're generally taught, if we want more money, you go get a second job, third job. But I found the constraining things about that is you're often limited by your hourly rate. Even if you're older, you become a liability to the likes of, let's say, McDonald's, because if you're older, they have to pay you more. They prefer the younger, cheaper labour, you could say. So that's one thing. It's $1 per hour. You're limited by your hourly rate. But not only that, it's only how many hours that you can work. I know when you're 20s and 30s, you can work 40, 60, 80, even maybe 100 hours a week, but it is quite tiresome and it is quite limiting. Passive income is changing the mindset of $1 per hour rate. Why? Because it's limited, and you want to be looking at ways that is not limited by your $1 per hour rate or the number of hours that you have. So Viv, any comments you want to add to that?
This is not quite passive, but what I've found when I'm looking for people to do some little jobs and that around the place for me on the renos, I've come across guys that will put up their drone. They'll charge you a little bit of money and they'll take photos and things like that with your drone. They're getting to play with their toy and they're getting some money as well. Other things, if you've got a big backyard, maybe you can rent out your backyard to somebody to park their caravan in. I'm looking for one on the Gold Coast at the moment. But yeah, things like that, yeah.
Exactly. So you really want to be looking at creative ways to create additional income with not a lot of additional work. I know there's people who do Airbnb. I find that from my experience, I've chosen not to do that because it can be a bit labor intensive. Viv may have a different take on that. If you're living upstairs and it's just downstairs, fine. But if it's a property that's 5-10 k's away and you're getting calls in the middle of the night to get keys, or someone's forgotten their keys or locked themselves out, can be a pain in the backside. So you're really wanting to look for systems or strategies that don't necessarily take a lot of time, but using the resources that you've already got without basically frying your bacon. So Viv, any comments on that? How did you go? You're doing a bit of Airbnb there?
Yeah, I did Airbnb for a while before COVID, but if you've got somebody that's looking after it for you and they're taking control out of everything, then it's pretty much passive, but obviously you've got to give a fair bit of your profit away for that. Sometimes I found the interaction between the people was great. It was good fun, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, like when people let you down and nobody's turned up to do a changeover and you've got to find quickly half an hour to go and change some sheets and things like that, it's not great. It's definitely not passive.
Exactly. So those are just some of the ideas there. We may have talked about rooming accommodation there. The best way to make that passive is to get a qualified or professional rental manager to look after that. I think that's absolutely key for that kind of strategy there. I know some of my mates have done boarding houses there. They've also done caravan parks. When you go to a caravan park and you've got roughly 200 dwellings or 200 tenants there or occupants there, it goes beyond being an investment and becomes a business there. Nothing wrong with that. You just got to understand you're going to have staff changes. You're going to have people doing things like stealing stuff, breaking stuff. Things are going to be fixed all the time. So it becomes more of a management exercise, like a hotel or a motel, than an investment property. So it's awareness of that. Once again, thinking big, starting small, trying different things, and going back to some basic things is, for example, adding extra bathrooms into your rental property and renting out ensuite rooms, closing in your garage, putting some windows there, sliding doors there, turn that into a living room to expand the living area, and maybe turn that into the granny flat. Obviously get it council approved. So those are some basic things. I think it's just the mindset, rather than just going, okay, how can I get another job? How can I go win another job? Or can I work after hours? Yes, I understand if you're going to pay off some debt and you need to get some cash quickly, I understand that completely. However, in the long term there, if you're wanting to get long-term passive income, or forever money as I call it, you're really wanting to look at ways to create passive income, but also systems that manage the occupants there, manage the rent collection, manage the payment of bills, so that you can go to the beach, you can go on holidays with your kids for 2 weeks overseas without having leaky toilets to fix and things like that. So Viv, anything else you want to add to that before we finish up?
No, I think maybe the only thing I thought of was, if you're on a main road, you can get signage and rent that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Billboards are another possibility there to get some extra passive income. So, all right, guys, thanks for your time there. Hopefully you've got some information out of that, some value out of that. I'll catch you next time. Young New Advanced Property Strategies. This is Viv Halliday as well. Give them away, Viv.
Bye.